You got New England pride. Show us you've got New England pride. Stand up, shout out, show us you got New England pride. Show us you've got New England pride. New England pride.
Welcome to New England Pride TV. I'm Dale LePage.
And I'm Tina Marie Billing.
Let's get on with the show.
Welcome to the MSPCA Cape Cod. The MSPCA of Cape Cod cares for over 1,500 animals each year through its adoption program, Community Low-Cost Spay and Neuter Program, and Community Pantry. The MSCPA of Cape Cod provides care and housing for stray, abandoned, and surrendered pets, including dogs, cats, rabbits, guinea pigs, hamsters, birds, ferrets, and many more. The MSPCA of Cape Cod is located on Route 28 in Centerville, Massachusetts. If you are interested in information about adopting from the MSPCA Cape Cod, contact them at 508-775-0940 or capeadoptions@mspca.org.
New England Pride TV is presented by Fallon Health and sponsored by the Hanover Theater for the Performing Arts, Remax Vision, Bay State Savings Bank, Safe Homes, The Pavilion at the Beer Garden, Paul Chasen Interior Design, Nuovo Restaurant, Dr. Frank P. Fechner Plastic Surgery, The Queen's Cups, Healing Point Therapeutics, Art Reach, Electric Haze, Bull Mansion, Ellie's Pet Barn, Handmeat Taekwondo Center, Roots and Press Cafe and Bookstore, and Herd Strategy and Storytelling.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking with us here on New England Pride TV. Our first guest today is Charles Steinberg, who is the president of the Rhode Island Paw Sox and the soon-to-be president of the Worcester Red Sox. Mm-hmm. I've got to tell you, having a sports person here on New England Pride TV, it might be like the first sports person we've had on here. Because our fans and my friends know I know nothing about sports. The only thing I like about sports is the showers, and that's it. We know that, right? That's a given. All right. So, but I wanted to have you on, and you were so gracious to come on. Thank you so much. You've just been terrific to work with.
Well, thank you. You as well, and I appreciate coming on, and I appreciate that you are making the time.
Thank you. We wanted you on. I wanted you on because not too long ago there was a little, I'm going to call it controversy, kerfuffle, because at a Pride Night event, it was the perfect storm. It was basically the perfect storm. At a Pride Night event, there was Sean Spicer and Chick-fil-A. However, that happened, and I know how that happened because you explained it to me. Mm-hmm. And I'll explain it to our viewers, and please join in. The Sean Spicer thing was separate from the right, and you did not know until like the night before or the day before or something like that?
We didn't know that he was going to be attending till a week before the ceremony. We knew the ceremony that he wound up being involved in.
Yes.
We planned that.
And it was a wonderful ceremony.
Right.
Tell everybody what the ceremony was.
Well, at the Paw Sox
Yes.
in Pawtucket, just as we have done in our years with the Boston Red Sox, we say yes in some way to every accredited nonprofit in our region. We can always help. There's always something you can do. We're big on small things. Mm-hmm. Well, this wasn't really that small. We heard that there was a Rhode Island nonprofit that wanted to honor a Marine who had not only put himself in harm's way, had become partially paralyzed by breaking the fall of another Marine who was falling 30 feet. That Marine who fell was able to essentially walk away.
Survive
with minimal injuries. And the one who broke the fall was partially paralyzed, and he was going to now be the recipient of, you would call it a wheelchair, but it's much more high tech.
It was designed
like
specifically
tank
for him.
wheels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It wasn't circular wheels. It was like tank wheels. And yeah, designed, I'm sure very expensive. And they wanted the forum of a Paw Sox game in Rhode Island to honor the Marine and give him this wheelchair. We said, yes, absolutely. We honor military heroes every night in our ceremony called In Debt to a Vet. And this was good. Now, it turns out that the folks who set that up did so. That's no conflict or problem with a night that where there's also a ceremony for our annual Pride Night. When we took over the Paw Sox in late 15, a member of our staff, who's a member of the Pride community, had come to me, and I think she was a little worried about
Okay.
how I, she didn't know me.
Right.
And she explained to me what she would like to do. And I think she just felt very reassured and relaxed when I told her my own philosophy is there's two operating systems in the universe, love and fear. And whenever we can celebrate love, celebrate love. And I think that when love and fear face each other, love wins. I really believe that. I believe love conquers fear, and I think love is the unity of understanding, and fear is the lack of understanding so often.
And fear is usually a lack of education.
Often so.
Yeah.
So she was just so relieved that we who were new taking over the Paw Sox would be supportive, aggressively supportive. And so we've done Pride Night bigger and bigger and bigger each year. So Pride Night is that night. Well, the Marine who's being honored is that night. And those are planned long in advance. Well,
Right.
a week before, the folks planning the Marine event are told by the nonprofit, a member of our board of directors will be presenting it. That's fine.
Great, yeah.
Sean Spicer, who's a Rhode Island native.
Right.
No one, there was not a communication that said, okay, we're doing this on this night. They were just two separate things. And, it raised some eyebrows because of some people's politics
Right.
about, having someone who's been controversial. But at the same time, we're for unity. We're for inclusion.
yeah.
This is a Rhode Island native
Yeah.
doing a good deed.
Doing a really good thing.
You'd rather someone be celebrated for doing a good thing.
Absolutely.
So only on that afternoon when we get everybody together and we do a preparation meeting, we call it a day of game meeting, which makes it a dog meeting. We call it the dog pound meeting. We get together and went, wow, this is all happening
At
together.
once.
Separately.
Right.
And it really, to the fans who were there, it seemed to go okay. We didn't have a big crowd that night, and it seemed fine. The Pride event was very beautifully done by our folks who work on that, including members of the Pride community. And the tribute to the Marine was very heartfelt.
So where did did the controversy start with the former member of President Trump's cabinet, or did the controversy come when Chick-fil-A was just given at a Pride event?
It was a cascade of controversies.
That's what I called it, the perfect storm.
Yeah, it was, because on Twitter, you see the two ceremonies as being coincident, as being this collision of two.
Cohesive,
Even though-
right.
Yeah, even though at the ballpark they seemed and were very separate.
Okay.
So in Rhode Island, the issue was how could you have someone whose politics and professional resume include controversies in this regard on a night when you're doing Pride. But what was interesting and fascinating and educational for me was more in Massachusetts, the controversy lit up that there was a Chick-fil-A promotion
So
that night.
Massachusetts was the spearhead of the Chick-fil-A controversy. It wasn't Rhode Island.
That's my perception. Yes, my
That's your perception.
perception
Okay.
was that in Rhode Island it was, gee, you're having Sean Spicer on a Pride night. In Massachusetts, it was, oh, there's a Chick-fil-A promotion. But the Chick-fil-A promotion is a nightly thing. This year, other years, you catch a third pop up and everyone gets a coupon to go. So that became an issue here, and that's when I sought you out because I was learning about the issue.
I have to tell our viewers at home how this happened. I know this interview is going to run long, but I don't care. the controversy began, and I was reading all about it, and I was actually going to reach out to the Paw Sox. I didn't know who to reach out to. We hadn't met yet. My phone rings, and I pick it up, and I didn't recognize the number, so I usually don't answer, but I did. And, hi, Dale, I'm Charles Steinberg. I'm the president of the, and I'm like this to my husband. It's the president of the Paw Sox calling me. And I think it was a real pivotal conversation because I taught you, and like we all do in the LGBTQ community, I taught you what conversion therapy was, and its relationship with funding from Chick-fil-A. And like many people, Charles had not heard of conversion therapy, did not know what it was. I sent you articles from the New York Times, I sent you articles from different papers, and Charles got back to me and said, this is horrific, this is barbaric, I can't believe it's happening. You did not know it was happening, you didn't even know it was a thing, which I understand that, because when we go out and we talk about what conversion therapy is, and it still exists and they still do it, people are just dumbfounded that it even still exists. As a matter of fact, in the recent news last week, one of the biggest organizers of a conversion therapy group from it's down south somewhere came out as gay. So, I mean, that's pretty telling right there. But you learned what conversion therapy was. You learned how some of it's funded. And I said to Charles, I said, are you going to stop your association with Chick-fil-A because of this, the support of this barbaric practice? And you signed in a contract, and I get that.
It was on your Facebook page that you had the link to the New York Times article, and I hadn't known that. And so it raises the question, because I love one of your points, and I'll only paraphrase it, you can quote it, but through education.
Oh, yes, education leads to understanding. Yes, yeah.
And I think that's so. And look, we're not here to talk about bats and balls and batting average, but one of the things I adore.
We talk about community.
Well, that's what I adore about baseball, is it is such a magnet that unifies the community. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor or black or white, what your orientation is, what country you're from. Everybody can come together.
It's a unifying factor.
Yes, and you put in a world filled with division, too much.
Yes.
Here is baseball that allows us to come together. And one of the things that's been so inspiring to us as we've gotten to know Worcester is the multicultural harmony, the celebration of diversity, the inclusive nature. And I won't use the word tolerance, because to me that almost sounds possibly begrudging. It's more of an embrace. And that's exactly what we love.
And I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but just this past weekend, Worcester celebrated first of all, its biggest Pride parade in history and its biggest Pride celebration. So things are really happening. People are coming together, and it's wonderful. And I'm going to tell this should come as no shock to you or anybody who knows me, but I'm going to make a promise to you right now. I'm going to make a promise. I have never attended any sporting event, any baseball game ever, but because of you, sir, I am going to be.
Well,
so
I appreciate that.
That's part of your unification right there.
Well, what we want for Polar Park in Worcester is for it to live up to baseball's potential, that we bring everyone together.
Right.
And, it goes further as we get to know each other and know the community. We've been immersing in the community for more than a year.
Yes, you have.
And we've loved it.
Yeah.
So I go on your Facebook, and I see your music.
Yep.
And I had the honor of coming to see where you were playing.
You came to see me one night.
Up Locale, and you were great. But then I find on there your song.
My Worcester Smile song.
Worcester Smile.
Which I wrote for the Harvey Ball at the
And
Worcester Historical Museum.
that song just works in a ballpark. So
I love that you
with the
think
video
that.
that you have. So the way I see it, when we open Polar Park in 2021, I would love for your song and perhaps the video to be part of what we present at Polar Park, because it's about smiling, it's about love, it's about unity, it's about harmony.
And it's about Worcester's history and
Yes.
the coming together. Yeah.
I mean, we have loved getting involved with Bill Wallace and the Worcester historical.
Love Bill.
The whole operation, and we love him. And he's taught me about the Smiley, about the Valentine.
yeah,
all of
yeah.
it. And these are elements that you're going to see, if all goes well, adorned throughout the ballpark.
Interesting
we,
concept.
We may have smiley faces atop the left field and right field foul poles, which would be iconic.
Very clever, sir.
And well, we want to celebrate a city and a
Yep.
region,
Yep.
and you want everyone to feel included, no matter what language they speak, no matter whether they are in the $8 seats or whether they're in the $30 seats. Just let everyone be together. It's way more than baseball. It's a community coming together, and that's why I appreciate making sure that everybody knows they're invited.
Well, with that absolutely positive statement you just made, that's going to be the end of our interview. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I have to thank you so much
Sure.
for coming in today, taking your time to come in today to talk about what's happening, what we can expect, and how unity is the key.
More education, more understanding.
Education. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more right after this. Hey kids, welcome back to New England Pride TV. I'm here now with David from the Worcester Historical Museum and Lamar from AIDS Project Worcester and Swagley. You've so much to talk about. Just like before, I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go, because you've great things coming up.
My name is David Connor. I'm the Director of Community Engagement at Worcester Historical Museum.
And we love you.
It's been a great year for the museum and for Worcester's queer world, I believe, documenting the history through a historical lens and telling the stories of LGBTQ community folks is really important. It's a way for us to have a permanent record in the city, to be recognized and to put a permanent stamp on history. So you're unable to be erased once you do something like that, and that's the goal of the project.
It's a beautiful project.
Yeah, thank you. We have, in this year, it's been kind of a whirlwind putting the project together. You know, you have so many institutions involved. You have the College of the Holy Cross, who has helped us tremendously, Clark University, and WPI, who we all came together to co-curate this exhibit. And not only that, we've built a lot of community partnerships in that time. So my feeling is that people are ready to take action on LGBTQ history.
And as part of this project, you've got some great seminars.
Yeah, so we've had, so far we've had about 6 or 7, and we have more to come all throughout November. And the next project we have is on October 2nd, we're gonna have something called LGBTQing a City. What we're trying to accomplish there is just examining where we are now after having looked at the exhibit, and then where we're trying to head as a community. Mm-hmm. So we have Professor Stephanie Yule from the College of the Holy Cross who will be moderating that. We're bringing in Ed Augustus from the city who's going to tell us where they are. Mm-hmm. And the community, it's important that the community show up to this, because this is a chance for us to express our expectations and kind of examine the award that Worcester received, which from the Human Rights Index, we got a 100 out of 100 of most LGBTQ inclusive cities. So we're going to just kind of dissect that and look at it and try to move us forward on that.
New England Pride TV will be there. We'll be probably going Facebook Live or filming. I'm not sure yet.
So my name is Lamar Brown. I am with AIDS Project Worcester and Swagley. We're a community partner with the Historical Museum on the LGBT History Project. When David got the job at the Historical Museum, we have known each other before that. And he called me up and he's like, AIDS Project Worcester has to be on this community board. You guys are a crucial part of the LGBTQ history in Worcester. And I was like, definitely, we are on. He came down, started looking through our archival stuff, and so happened to find the name of
and
the project.
That's how the project was named.
Yes. We had a binder filled with newspaper clips, photographs, list of our earliest volunteers with our buddy system and the Dying with Dignity system that we had had back in the past, and on the top of the folder it says "Just for the record," and we both look at each other and it's like, "That's the name."
That's it. It's a statement.
Yes, it's a statement.
It's a great name.
Yeah, and we figured, a statement like that really does spell what we're trying to do, that we're going to be written in history and we're not going to be forgotten about. And that's what we aim to do with this project, and that's why it's not just for this year, it's a continuous project. The different groups that are involved are now realizing how important it is to, create and also preserve your history. And a part of that, the Holy Cross College has partnered with AIDS Project Worcester over the summer by having a 4-week internship program with us.
Yes.
And that resulted in us having a timeline, which we do intend on using in December for World AIDS Day week, which we'll be celebrating from the 1st to the 7th of December with various events across the city, and also partnering with different colleges and community organizations to, showcase AIDS and the history, and also Swagley and AIDS Project Worcester's work.
And let's talk briefly about Swagley.
Yes. I was hoping to get a whole session, but
And we can do that another time.
Sure. So Swagley is definitely one of the oldest LGBTQ youth supporting organizations, not only in Worcester but in Massachusetts as well. Our parent organization is the AGLI Network, which has a network of about 18 different groups across Massachusetts. We get our primary funding from the Department of Public Health, and we're fiscally managed by BAGLY, which is a Boston area for gay, lesbian youth organization. So over time, Swagley moved to AIDS Project Worcester in 2012, I believe. And since then, we have been focusing on reviving how we look, kind of presenting ourselves to the community in a different way with a new logo, new groups, new activities, and kind of changing just the prospects of how we're supposed to engage. Our idea is that we want to empower youth to a point that they can assert their identity, not just in safe space, but we want them to be able to create brave space. And the idea behind brave space is that it's an avenue and a place that you can be you without having an aggression in it, but you're just asserting who you are and that you're an equal entity in any space you go in.
This is the first time I've heard somebody reference brave space. I think that's beautiful. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most places say safe space. I'm like, I don't want a safe space.
Yeah,
I want
I
a
want
space that I'm brave enough to be me,
Right.
and not having to be concerned about anything else.
Similar to what we heard with the medical professionals,
Yeah.
right? This notion of
Acceptance
just
and
acceptance is not
tolerance.
necessarily enough. It's more about we're on an equal playing field.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Now,
an equal person.
I
Yes.
interviewed you also at Pride.
Yes.
You had a great table there
Oh, thank
with some wonderful volunteers,
Yes.
and I hope to be doing more interviews with Swagley. I mean, because there's a lot more to tell.
Yeah.
I'd like to maybe come down with New England Pride TV and do like a little remote kind of.
We have a very cozy room at APW.
A very cozy room at APW.
Couches and pillows
All right,
and
that'd be
everything.
kind of fun.
It's a fun space.
And I would like to take New England Pride TV for a walk around your exhibit.
Absolutely.
How long is the exhibit up for?
At least until October 12th.
At least until October 12th. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
you
let's
never
check.
know. The demand might.
Oh, the
make us
demand
push it
might-
a little
oh, I-
longer.
But I also
Are
want
you
to
spilling
say,
some beans here?
I just at least until October 12th.
Okay.
But I also want to say that the exhibit after it, we take it down. But my goal is to keep it alive. We're digitizing it.
Yeah.
We want to have public access to it so
Right.
that these stories don't go away.
Right.
We want people to be able to listen to the oral histories, to see the content, to see the stories. That's there are so many portions of this project.
Right.
That's what's next for the project. So we have the programming. We're going to continue to do community outreach. We'll continue to work with our partners in archiving history of
Right.
queer. New England Pride might be an interesting place to archive the history. We've kind of gone into your history a little bit, but have we actually talked about where it started, the documents, how it all began,
Right,
right?
right.
So that's part of the work that we'll continue to do. We'll continue to collect stories
Right.
and reach out to the community for what we call discovery days, which are when people come in to tell us this is what it was like to be LGBTQ during this time. So we're going to continue to take those stories in.
And really quickly, we're wrapping up. How would people get a hold?
WorcesterHistory.org.
And
AIDS Project Worcester and / for Swagley.
/ for Swagley. All right, thank you. We'll be back with more New England Pride TV right after this.
Hey, it's me, Amy JT with another segment of Experimental Comedy Therapy. I'm so happy to be back for New England Pride TV. Tonight I am celebrating Recovery Month outside Sonia Nightclub in Cambridge for a fundraiser for North Shore Recovery High School. All the students are performing original music and sponsored by Justin Clancy and his CD, The Color Blue.
And I put this on in hopes that like these kids, they would come up here and they would perform and they would feel that fire and they would feel that spark and it would maybe alter their lives just a little bit.
And I'm grinding, waiting for the opportunity for a label to sign me. In this life, I've been finding
Bottle service, can you hear me? Where is my cocaine? Forever lost in my dreams. You appeared in my dreams. You couldn't breathe, shaking me. Death before dishonor, more like
you're on the red line. Ash Mountain Illwood told me she likes train rides. Baby, we can kill time. Go there, then back again. There, then back again. What? She don't know that I'm a train wreck. I've been in and out of rehab. I don't want her to find out yet. I'ma keep my own secrets.
The fact that y'all are here and you guys are so young and you're taking steps to better your life, if nobody gave you credit for that today, like, good job, man, like. The reason why I wanted to do this is because like this is so special and this is so important to me. And if it wasn't for this spark that was lit in my soul and like this fire that was lit underneath me when I was young, I'm a firm believer that I would be dead by now.
But I changed my life for the better. Started overnight, got a nigga from a penny. Hand down, is it in my vocab? I was on the clock there. If you want something, you better get it. So I'm on with the next one. On the road to redemption. My soul was intact. Thinking about all of the times I was something and picking up there. And I'm just playing out. What with the fire that's burning and shot. Raising the walls and showing the teeth. My wrist in my arms and I'm off and they fight. I'm just drop back. Recovering that is component. They told me I wouldn't be shit until I reached a minute. But just a long time. That is progress. All emotion. That's the key.
This is what recovery looks like. So I just want to say, next time somebody says anything about recovery, these children on the stage with these beautiful musicians, that's what recovery looks like.
What an amazing time. These kids did such a great job. They practiced all summer long. They were all original songs. This is the first time some of them have ever been in front of a live audience. I want to thank North Shore Recovery High School and Justin Clancy. And until next time, remember, please be responsible for the energy you bring into this world. Practice compassion and tolerance. Take care, everybody.
Once again, we've come to the end of another episode of New England Pride TV. I say this the end of every episode. I learn so much. I learned about Swagley. I learned what was happening at the Worcester Historical Museum. I learned what was happening with the Family Health Center.
Yes,
I mean,
so
all this. I love that this is getting out there to the community.
Too, Dale. It's
and
really
huge thank you to any of our sponsors out there,
Yay.
because if it wasn't for our sponsors, we couldn't bring you that news and information.
Yes.
And thank you to Charles Steinberg for, really coming in and
just
taking the time.
Educating us on what
Yep.
their thought process
He's
was,
educating
and-
us, we're educating him,
Yes.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So I'm going to end the show the way we always end the show,
Yes.
which is by saying, please don't be afraid to shine your light.
Because you might be lighting the way for someone in need.
Until next time, thanks for watching New England Pride TV.
You've got New England pride. Stand up, shout out, show us. You got New England pride, show us. You've got New England pride. Shabba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bee. New England pride.